Now let's look at the processes which operate in a drainage basin. Now one of the processes is interception. Now when we talk about interception, we are talking about the precipitation. The precipitation here can be rain, snow, or anything that comes from the atmosphere as a result of condensation of water vapor. So here we're looking at the precipitation that does not reach the soil. That means it does not get to the soil directly, but instead it is intercepted by leaves, branches of plants, and the forest floor or the vegetation. So when we talk about interception, we are talking about the water bodies that are intercepted by the plants or the leaves of plants or trees. Normally they form canopies, and sometimes they take majority of the rain. Sometimes when it's raining and you stand under those trees, you don't even feel the rain. Why? Because they serve as an interception of the rain. That means it does not allow the rain to directly get to the soils. Secondly, we also have infiltration. When we talk about infiltration, we're talking about the process where the water enters the soil. So the precipitation or the water bodies that, or the waters that gets to the surface of the earth, when it is able to drain to the underground, it is known as infiltration. So interception is when the water is not allowed to get to the soil, but when it finally gets to the soil and the water drains underground, that one too is termed as infiltration. Then we have through flow. Now the through flow is the lateral or unsaturated flow of water in the soil zone. So when the waters infiltrate or gets to the underground, sometimes it doesn't get to the aquifer where groundwaters are stored, but rather it moves through the soil, and that one is termed as the through flow. In other words, it is the horizontal flow of water within the soil layer, and that is termed as the through flow. Then we have the groundwater flow. Here we're talking about the waters that flow through rocks deep down the earth. You know, some of the waters get to the underground, that is the aquifer, where water is stored. That is when you are digging a well, the place that we dig the well to is where we call the aquifer. They are the saturated rocks that collect water underground. So when groundwater moves through those rocks and flows swiftly, it is known as groundwater flow. So we have the through flow, that is, it flows through soils, and when the water gets to the rocks underground and it flows through the rocks, they are known as what we call the groundwater flow. Then we have overland flow. The overland flow is the water bodies that flows on the surface of the earth. So now we know the terms associated with the processes involved in drainage basin. Finally, we're going to look at the evaporation. When we talk about evaporation, it is a type of vaporization of water from the surface of the earth into the atmosphere. It is not always about the surface water, but sometimes plants also lose water into the atmosphere, and that is termed as transpiration. So we have evaporation and transpiration, and when the two are combined, they form what we call evapotranspiration. Evapotranspiration. So here we should rather say evapotranspiration. So here we're talking about the waters that are lost through the water bodies on the surface of the earth and plants on the surface of the earth. So when these water bodies get to the atmosphere, they condense and form clouds, and they fall back as precipitation. As I said, precipitation, it can be rain, it can be snow, it can be hail, it can be sleet. And so anything that comes as a result of the condensation of these water vapor that rise into the atmosphere are known as precipitation. So these are the processes involved in the drainage basin. So let's answer an exercise, then we end the lesson.